nationwide series right here. So to get us going, let's go trackside here and join tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as our colors are presented by the United States Army Nashville Recruiting Battalion. Master Ribbon standing for invocation delivered tonight by Joe Nels, pastor of Family Baptist Church in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and his partnering to give us the power we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sonoma Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my broken hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, Leaves. Lord, I pray and bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please stand in paradise for baptism. Presented by David Flowers.
Good Monday evening, everybody. Welcome to Racing for a Cause TV. I am Chris, and joining me in the booth is Rick Hammond Jr. Here we are at Pocono. Rick, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great tonight, Chris. Excited about this race over here at the Tricky Triangle. We've been looking forward to this race for a very long time. We only have this one and one other, so 2 races left to go, man. Things are definitely going to get crazy out there.
Yeah. You got Pocono tonight, Michigan to finish off the season next week. A 75-lap event tonight, 100 laps next week, and that will finish off the K&N Series for this season here at Racing for a Cause. Man, it seemed like we just started. It's unbelievable to me to think that we're almost done with the season.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, it seems like it was just a couple weeks ago that we were starting here with all these guys, with these races. We're talking about getting summer underway, and next thing you know, now we're looking at fall, Chris.
Yeah, it's true. It's gone by very quickly. But that's okay, because the faster it goes, the faster you and I get to get behind the wheel of the car again, which is good. It's what I'm looking forward to. And it's been a great summer.
It has been a great summer, Chris. I mean, obviously we miss driving, but, there's nothing wrong with sitting back watching these guys. I've been having a blast up here in the broadcast booth with you this season, and, we got some stuff to figure out, but we'll be back next season for at least a series.
Yeah. And I'd like to thank everybody who's come out so far. Thank you very much for coming out, joining us here on Racing for a Cause TV. Hey, if you don't know it, this past weekend we did the Dog Days 250, and I will say that was a huge success. We were very excited for that. We did actually have one Racing for a Cause member who ended up second, And that driver was Andrew Hill in the number 77 car. So congratulations to Andrew. And I know he deservingly won some money and ended up deciding to ship it all out to charity, which was awesome.
Yeah, definitely, Chris. I mean, he was actually the 79 car there during the dog days, but he is racing tonight under the 77 number as normal. Obviously, it was a special event, so 77 was taken by the one and only Chad Dalton of the iRacing Today radio show. So I want to definitely thank those guys for all the support and promotion that they gave us, and Chad for taking his time out that Friday night to come and race. And a big thank you to Andrew Hill. His cause was the American Heart Association. He actually took his winnings and added them to the donation to the charity of his cause, which American Heart Association, Jody deals with that a lot. So you know, he gave it to her all, so that was really cool.
It was really awesome. And I will, guys, during the dog days, we figured out that we didn't have any flags, and we made do, since there was only 3 cautions for, I believe, 15 laps. We made do. If it's not working tonight, you're gonna see me working live here on my computer. I'm gonna get it working, so just bear with me. Kind of back to the old way of doing things, learning as we go. You see the screen go black once in a while, it's because I'm fixing something. And hopefully we get it all situated right before the race starts, which should be just around the corner, honestly. Qualifying should be coming up pretty soon. And here we are again, like we said, at the Tricky Triangle of Pocono. And I don't know if a lot of people even understand why it's called the Tricky Triangle. But we're gonna let you know about that too. So here we are, getting ready to qualify for the event tonight. Again, 75 laps here on Racing for a Cause TV. Can't wait to bring you all of the action. We'll throw up the old, hey, look, I have a green flag. That means flags are working again. Hot dog. So just for our biggest event of the year, it wouldn't work.
Well, it was kind of tough, Chris. I mean, we had a lot of special things that we're trying to do for the dog days, and one of the things that got changed was InShane Designs. If you guys need any kind of graphic work or anything like that, definitely look him up on Facebook and InShaneDesigns.com. Also, his website. He made some stickers up for us as giveaways. They came out really good. John, I want to say thank you and hello for coming out tonight on this Monday night to watch us at the Tricky Triangle for the Pocono 75. But one thing, it was supposed to be when the caution flag flew, InShane's design logo came up, and I think that might have had something to do with it. But it seems to be working right now, Chris, so I think we're going to be good.
Yeah, I think so. John, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you out there. Thanks for spending a little time on a Monday night with us here at Racing for a Cause TV. We're watching our boys in Racing for a Cause getting ready to take battle with the Tricky Triangle of Pocono, Pennsylvania.
It definitely looks like it's tricky out there, Chris. I'm watching a couple of guys here. They're out on the track. They are going through their 10-minute 2-lap qualifying right now, but nobody's taking a time yet, which is, I'm not sure if it's my iRacing that's just messing up or what, but I'm not seeing any qualifying time, so I'm wondering if guys are tapping the wall.
Yeah, it's interesting, and probably the weather has something to do with it. Oh, yeah. Air temperature 72 degrees, track temperature 99 with a humidity of 81%. Hello, 1997 weather. Ew.
Yeah, it's definitely warm out there. These guys are going to be sliding around quite a bit. We have a setup that was made from somebody outside the league that's kind of it's a lot better than the baseline. I know the baseline, I did some testing personally by myself with the baseline on this track, and it was terrible, Chris. I was getting loose in every corner, no matter what I did. I mean, I could just kind of let it roll through. I could give it a little bit of gas, but I would just spin around. So I believe it was Nate Anderson who made this setup for us, and I want to thank him for taking his time to do that. I've heard feedback from a lot of drivers that stated that it is it's very neutral, very consistent. So we're going to see some good racing for these 75 laps here tonight, Chris.
Greeny checking in, unable to join us tonight, and that's okay, bud. You know what? There's life outside of racing. I mean, I don't know what kind of life it is, but I've heard that there is, in fact, life outside of racing. And yeah, John, you're absolutely right. There is no turn 4. Don't need to worry about that tonight. There are 3 turns, though. And of course, turn number 1 has 14 degrees of banking, and that's modeled after the old Trenton Speedway. Turn 2 with 9 degrees of banking, that's taking after Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And turn 3, just to throw in a little difference, 6 degrees of banking, just like Milwaukee. So it's all different, and we're going to see it tonight. It's going to happen.
Yeah, it's really cool on how they made this track. It's very interesting. I know a lot of drivers in NASCAR love this track just because of how different it is and how they have to adapt to every single corner. So it's pretty cool. Pocono has a really long history. Of course, the history is mostly under rain, but tonight we're looking at clear skies, so I don't think we're going to have a chance of rain at all tonight, Chris.
Yeah, it's... Hey, we've got Rick Hammond Sr. out in the audience. There you go. Say hi, Dad.
There he is. Hey, Dad. Yeah, some cars are hitting the wall. I mean, it is a little tricky out there. That track temperature is almost, it's well past 100 degrees now. So these cars are just, slipping and sliding around. It's very, very hard to get around here, but some guys have done good. The late model points leader right now, Chris Mefford, is holding that pole tonight at a 54.290. Ryan Nolan, the 78 Clam Chowder Crew Club New England car, he's holding on to second right now at a 54.337. So these times are pretty close. Did I say tight, Chris?
No.
It's loose. Oh, okay. It's loose as a goose.
Yes, it is. I'm watching some cars. Troy Radford right now. He looks like he's running a dirt car out there. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. This is going to be an entertaining race to watch, I'm going to tell you right now. Jake, how you doing, bud? Good to see you out there. Again, thanks for coming out on a Monday night, spending a little time with us here at Racing for a Cause TV. If you happen to be watching on a TV, I've heard that it looks pretty good.
Oh, Dad had it up there. I stopped by to see him this weekend, Chris. That's my dad in there in chat, Rick Hammond Sr. But he had it up on his 4K curved TV, and man, it was like watching a NASCAR race. It was beautiful.
Stock car rally racing. Yeah, big hit is right. Like, if you hit the wall.
Visual, that's going to be kind of hard because actually right now, looking at the standings for the K&N Series, Dustin German has the lead right now. He's sitting in first position, and he is about 85 points ahead of T. Roy Radford and then number 94. We also have Joshua Spalding, who's sitting in third. Steve Baker sitting in fourth. We have Andrew Hill sitting in fifth right now. Chris Mefford in sixth. Gerald West, Ryan Nolan in eighth. Patrick Smith, 9. And Andy Lambert rounding out the top 10. So these guys have some really good close racing. It's anybody's race. We're using the old NASCAR point system. So, I mean, somebody has a good race and a couple guys have a bad race, which we might see tonight because it is kind of slick. It could get real interesting real quick.
Patience will be key here on Pocono. We're going to have to call it a little bit like a short track because patience really is going to probably win the night. You cannot overdrive this car tonight. You will spin it out. We've seen it multiple times, both in practice and here in qualifying. T. Roy Radford fishtailing down. I mean, that was a hard hit to the wall, too.
It's going to be tough, but they're getting ready to roll it over now, Chris, so get ready for that. But the session has now advanced to racing, so we are getting ready to grid up and get ready to hit the green flag.
Perfect. This is what I've been looking forward to all day today. And I'm glad to spend that time with you, Rick, and I'm glad to spend that time with our viewers. So we're getting ready. Oh, look at this. There he is, running in the, well, it looks like a mellow yellow car, the 44 tonight. That looks pretty darn good, I'm not going to lie. Rick, what do you say, bud? We'll kick it off for the second to last time for this season.
Sounds good, buddy. You roll that music and I'll get going.
We are rolling.
All right, so tonight the Racing for a Cause pole winner is number 44, Chris Mefford. Next to him is Ryan Nolan in that 78 machine. Dustin German, the point standings leader right now in that 28 car. He qualified third. Josh Spalding is sitting in fourth. Scott Noslin makes his return in the 33 Skoal Bandit car. He's sitting in fifth. AJ Hamill, the Green Mountain Madman, in that 14 car, qualified sixth. Steve Baker in the 55 machine, seventh. Fluffy Garrett, that's Jason Fluffy Garrett in the 73. He qualified 8th. Sean Cool in that 2 machine qualified 9th. Justin McDuff in 10th. Andrew Hill in the 77, the Dog Days 250 winner. He's sitting in 11th right now. Gerald West 12th. Phil Otto, our Aussie friend, in that 66 Tide machine qualified 13th. Justin Napier in the 56 qualified 14th. Brian Beach in the 18 qualified 15th. Patrick Fatpack Swain Smith in the 75 machine, he qualified 16th. Nicky Z, Nick Zotner. I'm going to get that before the end of the season, which is only one more race, but, well, 3 more races, really. But he qualified 17th. Aaron Driggins in that 42 machine qualified 18th. JP, Justin Pennywell, I know he's got some fans out there in chat. They haven't started pounding yet, but they will. He qualified 19th. Michael Thwaites in the 41 qualified 20th. Andy Lambert in the 35 qualified 21st. Dick Greenaway racing for his son tonight because his son is not able to race, some family issues, but he's here in chat with us, so thank you for joining us there, Rick. But he qualified in 22nd. And Dylan Blankenship in the 23rd. Chad Meadows in the 3 qualified 24th. T-Roy Radford in 25th. And that's going to round out the field there, Chris.
It's a big one, and they are rolling. We're getting ready to go green flag racing. One loop around this tricky triangle will get ready to set them free. Your leader so far, Chris Mefford in the 44, looking to try and win another one here in the K&N Series. Can he do it? 75 laps at Pocono. It's going to be a challenge.
It definitely is, Chris, and the iRacing officials just came across and let us know that Dick Greenaway was given an EOL, so he is moving back from 22nd to the 25th spot.
John, I wish I hadn't switched away from YouTube for a minute. I would have used that earlier.
That is awesome. Kendra, hey, welcome. Good to see you here on this Monday night on the K&N Cars Throwback Series. JP is out there. He is in the number 60 Spina Bifida car again. And right now he is starting out in 19th position.
Chris Mefford on the pole tonight in the 44 on his outside. Ryan Nolan in the 78. Dustin German in that that Havoline car running third. Man, oh man, we're getting ready to go. Pace car is going to scoot down the hard left-hand turn. We're going to kick this thing off with a green flag. There goes the pace car, and there goes Chris Mefford. We started off here at Pocono.
And number 44 got a really good restart, Chris, but right there, Dustin German had a little bit of run going on him, but it didn't last or do anything. Right now, as they're heading into that turn 1, we got Ryan Nolan looking on the outside of Chris. See if we can do anything kind of in that mid level. It looks like he's getting a good run right now. Let's see if he can actually complete the pass, which he does, and the caution is out.
Ryan Nolan up front, just in time for a caution. I believe it's going to stick, though. Ryan Nolan up front. It hasn't been scored that way, but I think once they come across the start-finish line, it'll switch over up top. Not the way they wanted to start, but at least we got it started. I did see one car get up in the wall. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
There was definitely one car up in the wall, Chris, but really it was Phil Otto in the 66 and the 93 and Nicky Z got together there and spun around.
Well, I say we go ahead and take a peek. Oh, I didn't go back far enough. Ah, I hate it when that happens. Oh well, back to live we go. We'll catch the next one. Big track, man. I gotta rewind a little further than I normally do. We'll catch it next time. Hit the ticker button.
It definitely is kind of hard to catch it, Chris, but that's exactly what happened. It looks like I'm trying to find out what car it was that hit the wall there. It might have been Michael Thwaites. It was Michael Thwaites in the 41 Kodak car running that cool throwback paint scheme. He got up into the wall, blinked a little bit, and basically what happened was Nicky Z still had a run before the yellow flag came out and just tapped Phil Otto just enough to make a spin, which brought the caution out. There were a couple other cars that were involved, mainly the number 35 of Andy Lambert right now. Which I'm guessing it's looking like he's in 25th position, so he might be done for the night.
Ah, that's not at all what you wanted to hear. And John, thank you very much for commenting on the overlay graphics. You look at the commenter right above you, Greenaway Motor Production. That's the guy that made them. And I saw a little preview of what he's got in the works for, I guess, next season, I'm thinking. Man, oh man, does that look good. I can't wait to show that one off.
The 31 of Dick Greenaway just had an accident there under the caution, Chris. He's sitting on track getting a tow right now. He's barbecued and probably done for the night.
Oh boy. Well, not to pick on Greeny at all, but I'm gonna not do it. I'm gonna not say it. I'm not gonna do it. Greeny, I'm giving you a pass tonight, brother.
Yeah, Dad, once we have nothing to talk about, we definitely just let the cars do the talking. I know you want to get that that new system that you have cranking out there.
Well, we're going to get ready to start this one over again here pretty soon. I believe the pace car lights will go off when it goes over the start-finish line the next time by, so we'll get ready to go back green flag racing. Guys, I don't have any commercials for you tonight. First time all season. My goodness. I don't know what I'm going to do. We got to pass the time somehow. Rick, how was your day?
Let's not talk about my day because it was worse than racing and rookies.
Oh.
But it's Monday and it's over, dude, and we're here. Here we are, Racing for a Cause TV. We're out here for all the viewers. If anybody hasn't yet, hit that big red subscribe button down there on the bottom left-hand side. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. If you don't like the broadcast, tell us in the comments what you didn't like about it so we can fix it. But this is what I look forward to every Monday and Wednesday. Soon, you know, we're going to be back out in the car, man. It's been a long season of not driving. I mean, it's your first season sitting out, but it's my second. So I'm pretty interested, and I can't wait to get back into my cockpit and see maybe what I can do. Probably not much because I know the wheel's pretty tight and everything's all rusted up, but I'll have to work on that this weekend.
Greeny says, run my commercial. What he doesn't know is I actually, in order to get my flags working right, I reverted everything I had done the other night for the dog days. I reverted back. So in order to do that, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know how you do it, Chris. I know there's a lot of stuff that you got going on. But listen, man, you're going to have plenty of time to fix this up. We only have, after tonight, 3 races left of the season. Wednesday night, August 9th, we are going to be at Stafford with the late model series. They're going to finish up their season on August 16th at New Hampshire, both 100-lap races there. And then we have Michigan right here next Monday. We'll be finishing up, and we'll be crowning a winner, the first ever Racing for a Cause K&N champion. That's going to be interesting. I don't want to talk about that too much. You know, it's hard with the old points trying to figure out who's going to do what. But, you know, as long as Dustin German keep doing what he's doing, you know, he's got it pretty much locked in, I think.
There you go, Greeny. I gave you part of a commercial, but pace car lights are off. The guys are getting ready to go back green flag racing. Cars are lined up 2 by 2. That's Ryan Nolan down on the front. He is in first place right now. Chris Mefford on the outside of the pole. In third place, Dustin German on the outside. Second row, Scott Noslin. Steve Baker in the 55 running in 5th. And Joshua Spalding, he's running in 6th place right now. See, Greeny, I do things. I did that one just for you, buddy. I had to turn down the volume because Rick didn't know what I was doing. Snuck one in there. Turn 3. I don't like it. It's too flat.
Yeah, I have to definitely agree with that, Chris. Turn 3 is one of the worst ones here. It is pretty flat, and it's tough to get around. You can't really get a good run on there. You got to really, you know, get off the gas, tap the brake, roll through that corner, and it seems like it's a really long corner to do that with, and it's very easy to spin out in that corner.
Tommy Q checking in. How you doing, bud?
The Tom Q Show. How you doing, buddy?
Pace car is in. Ryan Nolan takes off in that 78 car. He's going to have the advantage going into 1 on the inside. On the outside, Chris Mefford, but oh, they're fanning out. They're fanning out 3, 4 wide. Awesome. I love that.
On this track, you can definitely do that, Chris. Until you get into the corner, then you got to try to figure out what you can do or where you want to be. You know, it's really tough to go 4 wide here. There's not a lot of room. We got a guy who is sliding just a little bit there. Looks like it might have been the one. I'm not sure who that was. But it doesn't matter because they all held on to their rides and they're just doing their thing right now. But right now, Ryan Nolan's sitting there in that first place, and he's just starting to put a little bit of time in between him and second place of Dustin German right now in that 28 machine.
Yeah, Dustin German, 0.5 of a second, half a second back right now, but it's really early. The man on the move right now, the 55 machine, Steve Baker, he's moved himself up to 4th, and he's looking for 3rd. He's doing it on the inside in that 55 machine. The cat car, I saw Jason Garrett get very loose. I think he's going to have to come down pit road to try and save it. My goodness, he got very loose. Ended up coming down pit road.
Yeah, I was just going to say he ended up, it looks like he's going to probably try to do a drive-through, Chris, but that's unfortunate because he's going to lose some time there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be going down pit road when the rest of the cars are at full song. You are going to lose a lot of time. The only thing I can say is just be patient because the caution will come out again, I'm certain of it. Ryan Nolan has the lead. Ryan Nolan has led 5 of the 6 so far, and he is trying to put a blistering pace on the field while trying to maintain control of that car because they are loose. They are loose. You just saw the 44 kick out just a little bit. Steve Baker was trying to get underneath him, thinks better of it, gets back on his rear bumper for the draft. That's one other thing. Sorry, Rick. That's one other thing we need to think about. You do get a draft on these straightaways. It's such a long straightaway. You definitely get a draft.
Yeah, that you do, Chris. Right now, one guy who is on a move and using that draft very effectively is the number 75 of Pat Smith. Fat Pat McSwain. Hard for me to figure out who you are there, but we'll get it down there, Pat. I know that's your nickname, but he's been driving like a madman out there trying to get back up there from sitting in the 19th position right now. He did fall back a few places as he qualified 16th, but he is definitely turning on the heat and getting it back up there.
Turning on the heat's the 55, and right behind him the 33 as they're trying to get around the 44. Tommy, thank you very much. And we know the series is supported by people just like you, and I can't wait to have you back out on track, hopefully sooner rather than later. Right now, though, a good battle going on for 3rd place. You've got the 55, followed by the 33. On the outside, the 44. And we'll throw in a 9 just for good rings there.
Well, these guys are definitely driving like it's the last lap, Chris. It's actually kind of exciting to see. You know, everybody wants every position. In this old point series, every lap and every position counts a lot more than it does using the current NASCAR rules. I kind of wish NASCAR would go back to this because it actually shows who's the better driver. It's all about consistency. And right now, these guys in these in the front row, these are the guys that are usually pretty consistent throughout the week.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Captain Consistency are up front right now in that 78 car. Managed to win both races from Racing for a Cause last week. Ryan Nolan in that 78 car. Right behind him, you might as well call him Captain Consistency too. Your points leader, Dustin German, in the 28.
Yeah, Dustin German's had a really good season, Chris. He's that's what it is. I mean, these are the top runners. I mean, these are the guys that are up front right now that most everybody, you know, kind of gauges themselves on. You know, obviously a lot of our drivers have talent, but these guys just seem every week in and week out that they are always consistently up front. So it's definitely showing that they've been practicing. I know that this setup has been out there on the site there for about a month and a half. So I know a lot of guys have practiced with it, and you know they're just trying to figure out what they're doing right now.
And what they're doing right now is the 55, I think, finally has figured out a way to get around the 44, Chris Mefford. Steve Baker around 44, Mefford. He's taking over 3rd, and he did it on the inside. That is a battle. It's very, very tight right now. You see Mefford right on the back bumper, and the 9 car, Joshua Spalding, right there with him. They'll
if
stay
these
in
guys
line.
were a little smart, they would stay in doing that, Chris, because 1 and 2 would definitely have a big interval in between them. So they need to kind of draft, get their way back up there. I mean, I know this isn't a super speedway, but draft definitely does, like we said earlier, come into play on these really long straightaways. So, you know, they got a little bit of work to do there, but, you know, it's not going to take long for them to catch up if they just work together.
We go back to 7th place, Andrew Hill. Little correction, Rick said he was the winner. He was actually second place finisher. But nonetheless, very proud of what he did at the Dog Days 250. We had another hill that was the winner. That's kind of cool.
That's right. Yeah, the hills. See, it's messing me up even after the fact.
And I'll focus in on 9th place runner right now, Troy Radford. T-Roy Radford started way back in the field, has worked his way up to 9th already, so a good run out of that 94 machine.
Another guy that I'm watching is the number 14 of AJ, the Green Mountain Madman Hamill. You know, he qualified 6th. He is sitting back there. Looks like I'm not exactly sure what happened. He must have come down into the pits or something, Chris, because he is sitting in that 15th position right now. But I don't expect him to stay there too long.
Yeah, AJ Hamill does have one pit stop under his belt. Right now, currently being scored 12th on my system, so we'll see where that shakes out. And Nicky Z in the 93, just getting around him right now. These guys still fanning well. Very cool to watch. And that was Pat Smith going way to the inside and holding that line. Doing a very nice job holding that inside line.
What's going to be interesting, Chris, is I haven't heard too many people talking about pit strategy and how long they can actually run on a stretch of fuel. I mean, it's kind of a shorter race here tonight. I mean, obviously the track is 2.5 miles long, so it's not really short, but in our eyes it is, you know, only 75 laps. But, you know, I saw a lot of guys come down at that first caution right around lap 2. Now we're into 12. I mean, obviously the tires are going to go away. It's hot. The track is going to slick up a little bit until the rubber really gets laid down, if it even can in that short amount of time. But, you know, I haven't heard much. You know, usually people tell us, or a couple drivers will say, you know, the fuel window's here, but they've been pretty secretive this week.
Tommy Q asking about spoiler damage on the Napa car. Let's see.
The Napa know-how.
Who's running that car tonight?
I'm trying to look right now. It's kind of tough because it looks like my trading paints isn't working unless some guys switched over their paint jobs. The Napa Auto Parts car. I'm wondering if that is Joshua Spalding, the 9. That's the Wild Bill, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. I'm not really showing much spoiler damage, though. I know Chris Mefford has a little bit on the 44 car that I'm seeing. So unless there's another Napa car out there, Chris, I'm not exactly sure.
Tommy Q, what's the number on the Napa car, bud? I'm looking and I'm just not seeing it.
I don't know if you can hear me, Chris, but try the number 9 car.
Number 9. Josh Spalding's coming up with that awesome bill. Oh, it is. Hey.
Yeah, it looks like he changed it up a little. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's really my trading paints or if these guys just did a little bit of changing. I know, of course, this is what Chase Elliott's car is going to look like in the throwback to Darlington. I'm not seeing much rear spoiler damage, but the right side of the car is definitely starting to turn into a modified car. So I'm not exactly sure what that's going to, you know, what's really going to do. He is falling back a little bit as a couple of guys just got around him, Andrew Hill and T. Roy Radford in that number 94 car. You're saying behind the 60. Okay, that would be Sean Cool in the number 2. Yeah, he's got a lot of right rear damage on that spoiler. That's definitely going to be hurting him. Right now, his last lap was a 57.331. Looking at the leader, Ryan Nolan, right now, his is, well, it's a 55.267, so he's a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now that I know what car I'm looking at, yes, there's a lot of damage there, and there it is to see it. Tommy Q, good eye. Yeah, a lot of damage on that right rear. Right now, Ryan Nolan in the 78-year leader. Dustin German, second place. Steve Baker out there by himself a little bit, running in third place. Then we've got Chris Mefford. You see the left side of his car beat up a little bit on that 44 machine. Right behind him, Andrew Hill, starting to make a little contact on that 44. That's going to be enough to pull up the draft, and I expect that we're going to have that 77 on the rear bumper of Chris Mefford here pretty shortly.
Now what's going to get interesting, Chris, is I'm looking at the 7.8 of Ryan Nolan. He's starting to get into a little bit of lap traffic. I mean, it is spread out, so he's going to be able to use it kind of to help him get a little bit of boost going around, and then use him somewhat as a pick. It depends on what happens, but you know, right now it looks like he is getting close to Michael Thwaites in that number 41 Kodak machine. He's about ready to go a lap down here shortly. And then, of course, we have the 42 up ahead of Michael. There's a slow car that had just passed really quick. I'm not sure exactly who that was. It might have been Dick Greenaway back out there in that number 31 machine coming in. Oh, yeah, he's really slow off the pace.
Greeny's calling leaders in and around lap 19. That's 2 laps from now. Thornclaw Gaming asking how do they say can the tracks in iRacing. I don't know what that kid is thinking, but he can't spell worth of beans.
I think what he's wondering, Chris, is how do they scan in the tracks at iRacing? Basically what they do, bud, is they have these great big machines that they attach to a truck in their car, most likely a truck or a van, and they drive around, and it basically just scans that track, saves it. When they bring it back to the office in Massachusetts, they throw it all in and do what they have to do to create the track. What's really cool is, you know, as you know, we had Scott Dragon, the Thunder Road late model champion here in Vermont. He was on the VR saying that he couldn't believe how close Oxford actually was to the real life stuff as he was turning crazy laps there. So, you know, the scanning is something that a lot of these other quote-unquote simulators or games, they don't do. They don't go that far. I mean, there's guys out there who have been on some of these tracks in real life stating that, you know, every bump, nook, and cranny is there. So it's pretty amazing. That's kind of why it's a pay-for service. You know, they don't just throw it together in a computer model like the old days and just try to make something that's close to it. I mean, these are 100% scanned at the time. Now, unfortunately, as NASCAR and the other shorter track, the weekly series, oh, we got a guy coming into the pits now.
Yeah, that guy coming in is the 44 car, Chris Mefford, your pole winner, coming down pit road, the first of the lead car laps, really, to come down pit road.
We have a caution, Chris.
And we have a caution, which is really bad news for Chris Mefford. Oh, that's bad timing right there.
He definitely did not want to see that. I'm going to try to find out what happened here.
I'm going to amend my statement. Not sure what happened. It may be Dick Greenaway's off track again, but I think Chris Mefford may have gotten actually lucky with that yellow flag. His pit service is done. He was able to get back out on the lead lap. I think Chris Mefford got very lucky on that. I think that's not going to hurt him at all.
That'll be interesting to see what happens here, though, Chris. I mean, he was coming down into the pits, and you are correct. It looks like it might have been the 31. Got up a little too tight, got close to that outside wall, and brought out the caution.
Well, as we're under caution for just the second time tonight, I'd like to thank everybody that's come out to spend their Monday night here with us at Racing for a Cause TV. We really do appreciate it. And, Dad, if you're still watching, I hope you're not asleep yet.
You know, that's one thing that he said to me Saturday. He says, you know, if things don't work out for you over at Partner Tire, you could definitely get a job as a hypnotist because you do a good job every Monday and Wednesday night.
Oh, wow.
But then I asked him when he took his medication for his back, and he told me right around that same time. So that may have something to do with it. I'm not 100% sure, though.
Just wait until he needs to use me for service. Oh, boy.
Yeah, yeah. Dad, it looks like you're buying some tools.
Ryan Nolan hitting pit road, giving up the lead. It's going to be interesting to see how this one shakes out. Now, the question I have is, did the 44 car actually complete its service? Let's take a peek here.
Right now, I'm showing Chris Mefford sitting in the 19th position, Chris. So he may have come down and hit the pits there.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting.
I'm watching him now. He is coming around. I believe it might be turn 1 right now. And he's just kind of holding up there with the pace car. So he might have actually moved up into 3rd position there.
Well, let's take a peek at who's with him here. We've got the 41 and the 42 in front of him. Both of those cars a lap down. Chris Mefford is going to be your race leader when this goes back green. So what I thought was going to be bad ends up being the best possible scenario. Chris Mefford takes over the lead by being in the right place at the right time.
Now, what's going to be interesting, though, Chris, is if you look at the rear of that, well, it's the GMR Motorsports, but it looks like the mellow yellow car from Days of Thunder. And my man, Kyle Larson's throwback at Darlington last year. But he's definitely got some right rear damage there by Buddy the Bear. So it might be maybe not enough to keep him, slow him down enough. But if a couple of those guys come up and they start working together, they might be able to get by him. You know that Ryan Nolan's usually a very strong, hard racer. You got Dustin German there, Steve Baker, his teammate right behind him. And behind the 2 Rad Racing guys, you have T-Roy Radford. And you also got to remember Andrew Hill's there too. So, you know, there's a few team members that are out there that are going to be able to help each other do what they have to do. So that's going to get kind of cool and interesting to see what happens with the restart here.
Chris Mefford already saving gas. You hear him fire the motor up, get a little speed up, and then kill it. Chris Mefford playing the gas game already. 0 RPMs out of that machine. See him fire it up again, takes it up to speed, and then he'll cut it out again.
Just so folks know, tonight's pace car speed's at 75 miles per hour. That pit road speed limit, only 60. So it's not too bad as you're coming off there. But yeah, he's definitely saving. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, he's only has 1 lap less of fuel than these guys, and he was under caution, so I don't think he was running it too hard. We're going to see what happens, though. That's going to be kind of cool to see how that plays out towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it really will be. And Tommy, if we're thinking about it, let me think here. If they were going to come in, say, lap 20 or 21, you double that, that's the 44. 44 plus 21. No, you're pitting 2 more times unless you can figure out a way to save. And maybe that's exactly what Chris is trying to do. Maybe his intention is to run a very long fuel run this time by, come in and pit after everybody else has. He'll have fresh tires. Maybe. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. Good call on that.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's going to really hurt that is if we have that long green flag run and these guys have to be full bore. I mean, he's got, like I said, you know, there's going to be nothing stopping those guys right behind him. And as I said, they're teammates, you know, of each other. We have a couple different ones. We have Ryan Nolan and Andrew Hill. Andrew Hill sitting in 6th place. Ryan Nolan sitting in 2nd right now. You got Dustin German, Steve Baker. They're going to be right there side by side. But, you know, that's not going to last long. You got T-Roy Radford there, whose car looks pretty good. You know, is he going to hold off and try to help Mefford, or is he just going to pass him to try to get that position? It's going to definitely get interesting.
Yeah, it really will. I mean, you think about it. The track is 2.5 miles long. If you're running, say, 80% throttle, you're probably going to save yourself 4 or 5 laps, I would think. Man, if he pulls a fuel strategy win out of this, it's going to be amazing.
Kendra, right now, JP in that 60 machine is sitting in 12th position. So he's moved up quite a bit. He qualified 19th. He's sitting in 12th, just outside that top 10. So, you know, his car looks pretty good, so he's doing good. Except for when he's typing and driving at the same time.
Well, you had to correct it because he is he's saying he's in 12th, but he's on the inside, so I don't know how that's working out.
Yeah, it's definitely telling me that he's in 12th place here. That's what I said. He qualified 19th, but he worked his way up to 12th. He's just outside that top 10, so stop typing, mister.
You got to get ready to go. Green flag racing. The pace car lights are off. The cars are lined up 2 by 2. Chris Mefford looking to start this one up.
Our favorite resident Aussie in that number 66 machine, Phil Otto, is sitting in 13th position right now.
Yeah, doing a very, very good job, Phil Otto, tonight. Cars getting ready to go. You see them, they're getting ready to fan out. Chris Mefford with a very nice restart. Able to keep the lead on that one. And the guys are actually controlling themselves a little bit. Didn't fan out to that 4 or 5 wide that we had seen on earlier starts to the race. They're 2 by 2 from 3rd place on back.
Now, a little further back, Chris, there's some 3 wide racing, but they're starting to get it under control, get side by side and do what they have to do, or fall in line, as it looks like they're trying to do right now. You know, Dustin German, that's what he's doing. He's trying to hold off T-Roy Radford, keep him away from his teammate in that 44. They're going to be able to catch him. I mean, that spoiler, you know, there might not be a lot of damage there, but that could slow him down just a little bit.
So far, it's not doing enough, as right now, Chris Mefford has a 0.4 of a second lead over Dustin German, and it's holding. 0.4 of a second lead over 2nd place, Chris Mefford. And you see him dive down to the inside, trying to break that draft. He knows what's going on out there.
What's kind of interesting is T-Roy Radford was back there. He finally got in behind Steve Baker in that 55 Rad Racing machine. But, you know, they were racing quite hard there. And that's something that Mefford wants to see as Dustin German gets right up on his bumper. And he's going to go try to do the slingshot, go right across. And you know who's going to probably go with him is going to be Ryan Nolan. And right behind that is going to be Steve Baker, I'm sure.
Yeah, Dustin German right there taking the lead in very strong fashion. And Ryan Nolan sticks his nose down. He's trying to do the same thing, trying to take over 2nd place from Chris Mefford in that 78 car. Ryan Nolan has the inside, but right now, that particular corner, that's the tricky triangle right there. Mefford able to hold him off on that corner.
Yeah, that corner is really hard, Chris. I mean, these other ones you could probably go through and you can do what you got to do. As Steve Baker's trying to do it right now onto Ryan Nolan. So that's going to mess up his strategy there because Steve Baker's going to be able to take it away. There's a lot more banking on turn 1 and 2 to get through there. So we'll see what happens right now. They're door to door.
Steve Baker, Ryan Nolan, door to door. Steve Baker to the inside, Ryan Nolan to the outside. Ooh, we had some contact to the wall. Not sure who it was. Either 78 or the 94 touched the wall. Sparks flying, and Andrew Hill takes advantage. Andrew Hill sneaks up to 5th place.
Yeah, now he's behind his teammates, so he's going to be able to help out Ryan Nolan just a little bit if needed. But right now, they're just kind of doing their thing. They fell way off from Chris Mefford right now. Dustin German is just increasing his lead.
Yeah, Chris Mefford not playing a fuel strategy at this point, as he is running in 2nd place and trying to stay there. And he's got some very fast cars right behind him. Steve Baker takes over 3rd. Ryan Nolan back in 4th. Andrew Hill in 5th. That's the top 5 right now. You see T-Roy Radford trying to get underneath Andrew Hill, trying to make that pass complete, and he does. The 94 machine moves up in front of the 77. T-Roy Radford back in the top 5. Andrew Hill running that 77 car under fire from GMR because the car right behind him is Jason Fluffy Garrett in the 73. Jason Garrett moves down to the inside. He's going to follow his teammate on the inside, and he gets around Andrew Hill. Andrew Hill surrenders 1 and maybe 2. Nicky Z in the 93 running up and makes that pass complete. Oh, that was tight. He moved up pretty quick there. Nicky Z makes that pass stick, though. The 77 going the wrong way. All that racing going on, Dustin German has now pulled out a 7/10 of a second lead over Chris Mefford. But Chris Mefford has a new challenger behind him as Ryan Nolan was able to get around Steve Baker. Ryan Nolan trying to hunt down the leader. He's got Chris Mefford in front of him. He's the only one in front of him before he gets to that leader. Dustin German in the 28. Ryan Nolan, nice, up to the back bumper. Has a slingshot maneuver prepared. Down to the inside of the corner. Turn 2, not his friend. Not able to maintain. And falls back a little bit even. Loses a little bit of ground to Chris Mefford. Meanwhile, Steve Baker in the 55 dives down into the inside trying to make a pass on Ryan Nolan, but not on turn 3. That turn is a killer.
Just a little while ago, Chris, I was back here watching right around 8th, 9th, and 10th place, watching Andrew Hill. He was kind of one of the last ones that, or actually Brian Beach in the 18 was one of the last ones on that line who was sitting in 10th that were all nose to tail, and we had some guys racing pretty hard there. And actually, Justin McDuff fell back a few positions in that 6 machine as he went in a little bit too hard, started to come around.
Oh, excuse me, Troy Radford goes around. Troy Radford spins it. Think he may have had a little bit of help, but we are under caution right now. Troy Radford goes around. And we're going to take a peek at that one.
Yeah, those cars were definitely bunched up there, Chris.
You see him right there, Troy Radford. He's right behind Ryan Nolan on the outside of Steve Baker. I should probably let everybody else see it too, huh? Oh yeah, they just ran out of race room right there. Luckily I got it on just in time for that. Sorry about that, folks. So Troy goes around, a little bit of left side damage, but the spoiler is okay. Just a little bit of left side damage there. I think he's going to be okay. Caution out on lap 30. I'm sure we're going to see some pit stops again.
I definitely think we are. I mean, one person who really is kind of happy to see that is Jason Pluppy Gary. He qualified 8th. He's sitting back up in 4th place right now, Chris, right next to his teammate, Chris Mefford. Chris Mefford actually was pretty lucky there, too, as the 55 and 94 got together. And the 94 pushed up into that 45 on that last caution, but he was able to hold it strong and do what he had to do. But poor T. Roy Radford in that 94, he fell back to 21st position.
Yeah, falling back here, you fall back a long way. Now, Troy started back in towards the end of the field, and he had worked himself up into the top 5 in less than 30 laps. We've got 45 laps to go right now, so we can definitely do it again, but it's going to be a long battle. I want to go ahead and thank everybody who's come out to watch tonight. Really do appreciate that. This is the second to last race of the season for the K&N cars. After tonight, we've only got 3 more races before the season is done completely for both series. Everybody coming down pit road. We follow Dustin German down pit road. Right behind him, Ryan Nolan. Cars start peeling off to their pit boxes to get the service that they need. I'm thinking 4 tires and a full tank of fuel, Rick.
Yeah, I definitely think that's exactly what's going to happen as I'm seeing the right-hand sides of all these cars start to go up. They're definitely packing in the 76 racing fuel. And so far, Chris Mefford has taken 4. Dustin German took 4. I'm watching Ryan Nolan also take 4. So it looks like, yeah, definitely. Everyone's taking tires. Smart move. I mean, now is not the time. You know, if there was only maybe 10 laps or so left to go, you might want to start thinking about maybe the 2-tire strategy just to get out quicker. But as we know, the track temps are high. These guys are definitely pushing really hard. This track does eat up a little bit of tires, so, you know, smart move taking on 4 at this point in time in the race, I would think.
Up front in the 60 car, JP, Justin Pinnell. Right behind him, Patrick Smith, Fat Pat McSwain running in second. They did not pit. They decided to stay out. Is that the strategy that they're going to employ, or are they just going to maybe take one under caution and pit later?
Breaking news, this could change something for one person. We just talked about him. It'd be the number 73 of Fluffy Garrett. Looks like he just got ejected from the race due to a throughput unacceptable level. So he's having a little bit of engine errors going on there. Let's see if he's able to make it back in before we go green. But right now he is off the track.
Tommy Q, Mefford did take an extended pit stop, probably trying to get a little bit more of that damage pushed out. He knows he has time under caution, but yeah, he's coming out in 18th place. So good call. He did stay out into the pits for a little while. He stayed in the pits for a little longer, and maybe just to get some more repairs on that 44 machine. Up front, JP in the Spina Bifida car. Looking good up there, JP. I know you're listening. Pat Smith running second, Dustin German third, Ryan Nolan fourth, and Nicky Z, he's running in 5th place right now.
You know, it's kind of a smart move, you know, by JP and Patrick Smith staying out there on that pit stop, Chris. Like we said earlier, we are running the old NASCAR rules and point, or not rules, but point system. So leading a lap is a big thing. So JP knows that. He stayed out. I'm sure maybe with maybe 1 to go or so, they might jump down. I don't know if they're going to really try to restart the race here on old tires, and, you know, they don't have much fuel, so we're going to be watching them to see if they come down pit road this time by.
Yeah, they've only got maybe 10 laps on them, but with the fuel load and the length of the track, they may have another 10 or 11 laps. It's a strategy. You can't win if you're doing what everybody else is doing, right?
Now, this is one thing that I totally have a lot of work to do as we go. You know, some of these guys are really smart coming into the pits. You know, I've done a lot of sim racing, a lot of, you know, playing different console racing games back, you know, when they stopped making them for the computer and whatnot. And it seems like my pit strategy is never good. It never works out for me.
Did I just hear a whatnot?
A whatnot? You may have.
I may have. I cannot throw a whatnot on instant replay, unfortunately. I'm pretty sure I heard it, though.
Well, if you need to, you know, we can do a little recording after the season's done, so you have some stuff to put on and whatnot. You know what I'm saying?
I want to thank you all again for coming on out on a Monday night. We really do appreciate it. No, not a better way to start your week, really. You have one day of work, take a break, watch a race, go back recharged on a Tuesday morning. Don't forget about us on Wednesday night. The Late Model Series is coming back this Wednesday night. And after that, one more race apiece, and we are done on vacation for a little while. Racing for a Cause will return back on, what is it, September 11th, I believe. In the meanwhile,
it's going to be Monday, September 11th. We're going to start following the iRacing season schedule. Not the races that they do, but when week 1 starts, that's when week 1 of our season is going to start. We're going to shorten the series by 1 race, so we're going to be running for 12 weeks. We're going to take week 13 off. That way, if any build issues or anything like that come out, you know, we don't have to worry about these guys trying to race on the servers that maybe aren't quite up to par. So, you know, I think it's a good move on our part, but we will be back. You know, we will be taking a little bit of break. I'm sure we're going to have some podcasts and stuff up. You know, there's a lot more than just racing on this channel. And, you know, the admins and the sanctioning body definitely have some stuff to talk about because there's going to be some changes, but they're all good. So look forward to that.
Yeah, one thing I do want to mention, one of our admins, Andy, is going to be hosting on Tuesday, August 22nd, the first ever Racing for a Cause No Safe Spaces Enduro 200 at Oxford Plains. That's going to be fun. I actually may broadcast that one. I think that one's going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll see how that's going to go for me. My Tuesdays and Thursdays and Sundays are going to get kind of hectic there with soccer starting up for the little ones. So we'll see what happens. But if we're not broadcasting, then I might definitely be racing as the pace car comes off the field, Chris.
Pace car's off the field. JP with a very nice restart. He gets in front of Patrick Smith, but the inside line is moving. The inside line being led by Dustin German. And Dustin is going to see what he can do on new tires as opposed to what the front 2 cars can do on old tires. And the other guy taking advantage right now, Ryan Nolan on the outside. Ryan is looking to get around Patrick Smith in the 75 right now. And on fresh tires, I think he's probably going to do it. But Dustin German with a huge push from Nicky Z in the 93. A huge push to get around Pat Smith. Pat Smith in a world of trouble. Able to find a groove and make it stick. Right now, I guarantee you, his palms are sweating. There's cars going on the right. There's cars going on the left. They're dive bombing everywhere. Right now, JP, the one that's kind of laughing about it all, he's leading the race up front, and Dustin German's got to try and figure out a way to get around him. Ryan Nolan right behind Dustin German. It looks like they're going to try and push each other up front, and it's going to happen pretty quick. Nicky Z in the 93 kind of hanging out there, getting ready to go into that corner. He's going to follow, well, he was going to follow JP. JP got a little tight on that corner. That's the old tires kicking in right there. Not able to hold the line. Gets a little kick from Steve Baker. Steve Baker had no place to go. Gives him a little boot in the rear, saying, "Come on, JP." Doug Wasaki checking in on chat. How you doing tonight, Doug? So, Dustin German back up front. Ryan Nolan running in second. Nicky Z in the 93 found his way to third. Steve Baker in the 55 machine running in fourth. JP holding on to fifth right now, but right behind him, Andrew Hill, and he's looking to the inside. Good to hear, bud. Very good to hear.
Boy, I don't know if anybody really has anybody for Dustin German in that number 28 Havoline machine, Chris. He just takes off once he gets up front. That car definitely settles right in that clean air and just takes right off. You know, we got Ryan Nolan right there in the 78. The interval is going back and forth, back and forth. He's starting to catch up now, but I just don't know if he's going to have anything for him.
It'll really come down to that last pit stop, I think. These cars right now running very even. The interval, 0.2 of a second, and it has been for the entire lap. Ooh, Ryan Nolan tries a different line, and I don't think he's going to like the results of that. He comes out 0.2, now 0.3, so yeah, he lost a tenth on that corner.
Well, that's that corner that we were talking about. That's turn 3. There's really no turn 4 here. But, you know, it's really hard to get a run there. It is so flat. There's no banking to really hold your car down. You just get tight and you lose some time.
Yeah, 6 degrees, not enough to do much. You really have to hit that apex correctly, come out to the wall, but it's tough. Having the granddaughter over, what a treat. Man, that's awesome, bud. That's better than a race.
Yeah, it is. And definitely, you know, enjoy that time. And, you know, you definitely missed out here on the track, Doug, but, you know, we're always here, and you always have a home here. So you enjoy having the granddaughter over. Maybe have her paint your nails or something like that. I know that's something that my daughters love to do. Just make sure that they're usually on your feet so you can cover them up with socks and shoes after that, bud. But you definitely enjoy that time. Like I said, you always have a home here. So Racing for a Cause, you know, we're one of those people. I mean, obviously we like to see, you know, the drivers week in and week out come here, but it's always number one, family first, you know. Yes, you're part of our family, but you also have your real life family there, your personal family. So, you know, we're always here, buddy.
Looks like JP settling in 8th place right now. Obviously with older tires and not as much fuel as everybody else. So he's trying to run himself a little pit strategy, hoping for another caution and hoping that it happens pretty soon. I want to check in with the 94 car. That's Troy Radford. We saw him get into it a little bit, spin himself out, and go through the back of the field. But he's gathered it back up. He's running currently in 11th again. Just checking in up front. We've got a 0.4 of a second interval now. Dustin German to Ryan Nolan. There's a little bit of a gap from Ryan Nolan to Nicky Z in the 93. Steve Baker right behind him. These cars are definitely moving now. Lap 39 of 75. Coming up on 35 laps to go. AJ Hamill running 5th. Right behind him, the 33, Scott Noslin, making his return after a couple of weeks off. Andrew Hill in the 77 behind Scott. Go back a little ways, you see the awesome Bill from Dawsonville. Although I think he's Napa today. But he's running that 9 car. He's in 8th position right now. Gerald West in the 86. Had a very good finish last week. Right now, running in 9th place. That pushes JP back to 10th. Never fear, though. If we do get a caution, it could work out. Let's put it that way. It could work out.
Oh, it definitely could work out, Chris. I mean, you know, these long green flag runs, you know, the drivers love them, but the problem is you start using up your stuff really quick. I mean, there's no just kind of hanging back and doing what you have to do. You know, if Dustin German hangs back, Ryan Nolan's right there to open that door and take over first place. Steve Baker's right there in 3rd. Nicky Z in the 93, he's sitting in 4th. So it's going to be kind of interesting. But T-Roy Radford, he is on the move. He's back up to 11th position according to my scoring card here. And just a little update on the number 73 of Jason Fluffy Garrett. It looks like he was not able to rejoin the race in time. So right now he is sitting in that 22nd position, 8 laps down. Right now we have 21 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And we call that engine problems, folks. When they can't do it because of a connection issue on a sim, that's an engine problem. I'll tell you who's not having an engine problem right now, Ryan Nolan. I think that car is starting to come back to him a little bit. As for a little while, he was starting to close the gap. That corner bites him every single time, though. So we'll see if he can gather it back up here on what we'll call the backstretch.
The thing about a lot of these drivers is they know what they're doing. You know, Ryan Nolan could probably race Dustin German a little harder, but Ryan knows from real life experience that the more you race, the more you're going to wear down your equipment. You know, he's kind of in conservation mode. He's just slowing down, doing what he has to do. He's looking inside, you know, to try to make that pass, but he's not really pushing it that hard. He knows that we're only on lap 41 of 75. There's still a little bit of time left, and he's just going to try to save as much as he possibly can, I think.
You see right now the gap between the cars. You've got 1 and 2 kind of nose to tail. Back a little ways to the white car, the 55 of Steve Baker. And then another little gap back to Nicky Z in the 93. Then you've got Scott Noslin, AJ Hamill kind of running nose to tail back there. I think they may be working together. They're going to try and catch the 93 car.
Well, it looks like the 14 of AJ Hamill, that Green Mountain Madman, got a little bit of tight there and was trying to race Nicky Z in that 93, or actually no, I'm sorry, that's Scott Noslin in the 33. For some reason his full paint's not showing up on my computer, even though I updated Trading Paints, but you know, he kind of ran out of room. We're in caution, Chris.
Yeah, we are. And looks like Pat Smith had just taken, see, here we go again, Pat Smith just coming out of the pits. So that could be a really good win for him.
It looks like the number 3 of Chad Meadows got a little bit squirrely there, Chris. He started spinning out, hit that outside wall, and he has towed into the pits, so that's what brought out the caution there.
Okay, Chad Meadows in the 3, having damage. Getting towed back into the pits, but I think our winner, if everybody comes down pit road, and I don't see why they wouldn't at this point, everybody comes down pit road, Pat Smith already completed service. This could be the move he's been looking for.
Usually it's never a good thing going into the pits or being in the pits when the caution comes out. But you're right, Chris. That might actually really help him. And I guess I was wrong. It looks like Chad Meadows is still out on the track after that little squirrely incident. On my screen, for whatever reason, it went black. So he might have blinked out for a second also, having a little bit of connection issue maybe. But he is pulling up to the rear of the field right now there, right behind the 66 of Phil Otto.
Yes, he is. And he's got all kinds of damage around that vehicle. I think I saw some right front, left front, and right rear damage. So that car is going to be very ill handling and down on speed. 3 car looking better at the beginning of this one.
So I'm going to go ahead and ask chat, who do you think is going to win tonight?
Everybody coming down pit road.
I'm down here in the pits with Dustin German, seeing what's going on right now. The right side of that car is going up, Chris. So there's 2 tires there. He's taking left sides now. It looks like Ryan Nolan doing the same thing. Chris Mepper just pulled into his pit stop, or pit stall. He's doing the same thing. His right side is up right now. This is going to get kind of interesting, I think, of how this is going to work out here.
Yeah, it really is, because there's 2 cars out on track right now, Rick. And it looks like your leader, when they come across the start-finish line, is going to be the Aussie riding in that Tide ride, Phil Otto. And right behind him, Patrick Smith. Now, I know Pat just came out of the pits. I'm looking at how many times Phil Otto has taken pits. I'm thinking he probably just came out too, but heavily damaged on that left front. This could work out very, very well for Pat Smith right now.
I'm sure he's sitting in his chair right now, very, very comfortable, Chris. This is where he wants to be. He knows that he has 4 new tires. He's got a full tank of 76 racing fuel. I'm going to say 76 because this is a throwback series. There was no Sunoco. That was brought to my attention, so I'm trying to help that, Pat. Just saying. But I think he's pretty happy at his move there. A lot of guys, like I said, you don't want to be in the pits when that, or coming through the pits as that, checker or the yellow flag comes out. But I think this might definitely work out. But right behind him is going to be Dustin German, so that's going to get interesting. Dustin can definitely can hold that ride, and like I said, once he gets into that clean air, actually, it looks like Phil Otto right now, 66, is coming down pit road, Chris, so he did not complete his stop.
Yeah, Phil Otto coming down. He surrenders the lead to Pat Smith. Fat Pat McSwain on the leaderboard. Led that last one. And we know he just came out of pits.
Yeah, Greeny, I definitely agree. They are going to have to come in here at least one more time. And that's going to be the interesting, if it happens under the green flag, that's going to be really cool. If it is another yellow, not as cool, but still cool. I think we're going to see a lot of guys maybe taking 2 tires, definitely. But right now, there's Pat Smith in that number 75 Carlisle machine. Carlisle van lines.
So Pat Smith hits that caution just at the right time. Takes advantage of it fully, coming out as your leader after the caution. These guys are going to get ready to go back. Green flag racing. I believe pace lights are going to shut off after it crosses the start-finish line one more time. And then we're going back green flag. So far, only 4 cautions, 13 laps. 5 different lead changes here. That's pretty decent racing.
Oh, it's definitely been a good race tonight, Chris. I mean, from the beginning of this series, we were kind of looking at it going, man, this is going to be kind of crazy. We're used to short track racing here at Racing for a Cause. We played around a little bit with some of the other stuff, but this was our first real full series that ran a full season. So, what these drivers have done starting from the first race to the point that we're at now amazes me. They learned how to race around each other. They knew who they could race hard. They knew how they, who they had to give a little bit of room to because they get a little bit nervous. That's just part of sim racing. These guys have gotten really respectful. They do what they have to do, and they've been putting on some really good shows. And definitely tonight here in the Pocono Mountains, they're putting on a heck of a show.
Tommy, I think the fall off of tires is 1 lap. 1 lap around Pocono. I could be wrong. And the pace car lights are off. We're going to get set to go back green flag racing. Yeah, Doug, that sounds about right. Probably somewhere in the 8 to 10 lap. Then you start really feeling those tires. The thing about Pocono is you may not feel them really go away like turns 1 and 2. You got some banking. Turn 3, though. Oh, my Lord. 6 degrees of banking in turn 3. Even on fresh tires, it's going to push out. We get ready to go back green flag racing. I love watching my race from my Champlain. Oh. I'm glad you're enjoying that hot tub, Greenie. When you're done with it, flush it out. Not saying anything, but I'm kind of saying something. Well, we're going to watch that right now, bud. I will tell you that so far, the fastest lap run... Sean, oh no, that's not correct. 55. Why isn't this sorting the way it should? Well, I guess we're just going to have to watch. If for some reason it's not sorting it like it's supposed to, so. I wonder if there's a way to put a stopwatch functionality in this thing. I think that would be cool. Anyways, that's just me and my mental imaging Greenaway. Is that stifling or stiff? I don't know. I can't read. It's too far away on that monitor. Pace car's down. Green flag is rolling. Pat Smith, your leader. And he gets a really good jump. Patrick Smith gets a good restart. And we've got a car upside down. Holy cow. That's the 6 car upside down and all around. We're going to have yellow again. Is that... I believe that was the 6. Yes, Justin McDuff. We're going to have to take a look at that. That could be tonight's crash of the race. And I think we only need to go back about 30 for that one. Let's do it. We'll make sure that everybody can see it this time. We're going to be watching for the number 6 car. And here we go. That 6 car getting a really good... Oh, too much of a push. 6 car hard into the wall, and that's some wicked... Pocono is great for accidents. If you've never seen one at Pocono, it's just great in iRacing. Oh no. And chat's taking a bad turn, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Smith with a really nice restart there, able to maintain lead. Dustin German's going to be on the outside. Steve Baker on 3rd place. Joshua Spalding going to be 4th. Ryan Nolan 5th. Man, that was a wicked cool accident right there. McDuff with a huge end over end on the front stretch. We got it sorted out. We're going to go back green flag racing again. And you know, Pat Smith probably not upset to see this caution. Patrick Smith catches up to the pace car. The rest of the field starting to catch up too. We got to keep an eye on pit road. I know they just took a pit, but it wouldn't be a bad idea maybe if you're kind of towards the back. Come down again. Why not? More fuel. Even if it's a lap, you got another extra lap on tires. Laura checking in. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for coming out on a Monday night.
Well, hopefully you're enjoying your little vacay that you have.
Greenie, you already hurt my feelings. Just saying. I'm going to put it out there. Patrick Smith, the number 75, Carlisle Vans car out front, right behind him, the Haviline car of Dustin German. Steve Baker running that Rad Racing white number 55. He's running 3rd. Joshua Spalding in the 9 car. The Napa Know-How, number 9, running in 4th. Ryan Nolan in that Clam Chowder 78 New England car, running in 5th place, rounding that out. Scott Noslin in the 33, currently scored in 6th place. A.J. Hamill running in 7th place in that 14 Interstate Batteries car. Gerald West quietly having a very nice run, running in 8th right now in that 86. T. Roy Radford worked his way up to 9th so far. Brian Beach in the 18. He's running and completing top 10. JP, Justin Punnell, is coming down pit road, giving up, I think he was in 11th, so maybe he's listening. Maybe he was listening to me in chat and decided he was going to come down pit road for 4 fresh ones. a little bit of fuel, and maybe get that spoiler straightened out just a little bit. You got a little time, 2.5 miles. It's going to take them a minute to get around this track under caution, JP. Use it wisely.
Well, hopefully with Peyton at the beach right now, which I do agree, he is a lucky dog. Hopefully he left you his iRacing stuff so that way you can get in there and do a little bit of racing yourself.
"25 laps to go in this one. We're on lap 50 of 75. Looks like we're probably going to be down to 24 when we go back green flag racing. I'm predicting it's going to happen on the next lap. 24 laps to go. That's just outside of a fuel run. If I remember right, I'm hearing 22 to 24. So this one's going to come down to the wire on fuel. If I was out front, I think I'd be saving every drop I could. JP probably running my strategy. You're welcome for the strategy, JP. Maybe coming out of the pits as a an underdog favorite. Is that possible?
Well, anything's possible here, Chris. I mean, like you said, we have 25 working on 24 laps to go. If these laps go green, that's where it's going to get interesting. I mean, we got Patrick Smith in that 75. He is, taking the lead right now. You got Dustin German right there, who we watched all night tonight. Be very dominating, has a good car. You got Steve Baker, Joshua Spalding, Ryan Nolan, Scott Noslin, AJ Hamill, Gerald West, T-Roy Radford sitting there, inside the top 10. Brian Beach has been quiet tonight. He worked his way up to 10th place. So it's going to get really interesting to see what happens here.
Laura, do you want a tip to get out of rookie class? This is a one-time tip. It'll get you out in no time at all. If you're willing to take the advice, I promise within a week or so, you'll be out of rookies. When you start the race, just close your eyes. Not only will you be out of rookies, but you're going to be out of iRacing too. So don't take that advice at all. My true advice is stay to the back, run as clean as you can, and you will eventually get out of rookies. Just stay clean. That's the biggest thing that they want to see out of rookie class, is that you're racing clean. Other than that, there are no other secrets.
Chris, you're absolutely right. One of the biggest things that people try to do in rookie classes, they're worried about wins. There's a few YouTube videos when I started iRacing, I think it was almost 4 or 5 years ago, that somebody sat me down, made me watch, and it's all about crash avoidance. I mean, honestly, crash avoidance. I mean, you are almost there. You just got to get a couple more points. You get to that 3.0, boom, you're in D class. And then from there, it gets a little bit harder. You have to wait and sit there until you get to a 4.0 for an automatic, or be above at 3.0 or above to at the end of the season. But definitely, crash avoidance, stay in the back. Don't try to race too hard. Try to bring your car home clean. A lot of people say start from the pits. I don't really agree with that. That's just me personally, but I think you're going to do fine. 1 or 2 more races, and you're definitely going to be out there, so congratulations.
And Doug, there was one who pit for sure. JP, Justin Pinnell, took advantage of this yellow, came down pit road. I'm sure he had his team pack that thing full of fuel. We got another car coming off pit road right now. Looks like we got a couple of cars that are coming off pit road pretty soon. And we've got Chris Mefford, we've got Andrew Hill, Justin McDuff, who was involved in that accident. So I'm not sure if he was even alive in the cockpit of that car. But there are a few cars that took advantage of that. And they should, because I think they will actually, they should be able to make it if they stretch 1 lap of extra fuel out. This could be a good finish. The guys that I don't think are going to make it on fuel anyway, unless we have another caution, you're looking at them. All those front runners right there. Nobody up front came into pit. they're not going to have the fuel to make it to the end of this one.
I have a strong feeling that they're thinking that there's going to be another caution out, Chris, which very well could happen. But that's kind of something that you don't always want to think of. I mean, we kind of learned that right down at the Dog Days 250. You know, we had stuff to give away during the caution flags. Well, we ended up only having, what, 3 of them? So you never know what happened, you know, what's going to happen. If these guys get a really long, good, you know, finish up under green, like you said, those front runners, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, they haven't been saving fuel as far as I can tell. They've been running around in gear, using up that fuel. So if it goes green, they're in trouble. If not, they'll come down pit road and fill it up. Patrick Smith on the restart, out front. He moves up in front of Dustin German in the 28. Good move by him. Steve Baker putting the pressure on the inside of Dustin German. Not quite able to get there on the turn. Dustin German in the 28. What a beautiful line he has right there. Pat Smith tries to move up. Dustin German stays down low. He's looking to go for the lead right now. Big push on the inside line. The 55 down. Oh, we've got one around. Got one around. And it was a big one. It was the Interstate Batteries car.
Poor AJ Hamill.
AJ Hamill goes around and around. Let's take a peek. AJ Hamill, we're going to get in tight. You're looking at the 14. Cars were dicing. Oh, it looks like the 86 made a move. Oh, boy. We're going to call that a racing incident, to be sure. Oh, boy. We go back live. Dustin German able to get around Patrick Smith for the lead. Eventually they're going to figure out, though, it doesn't matter right now because they have to come down pit road one more time.
I'm wondering if it's too early to even think about this being the last pit stop. I'm not exactly sure.
Well, it could be. It could be the last pit stop, Rick, if it goes green. They have enough fuel. Well, if they come in pit, they'll have enough fuel. And Tom Q, yes, you're absolutely right. You know, get off the track as soon as you can. The last thing you want to do is take a bad night that you're having and make it somebody else's bad night. Here they come. Leaders coming down pit road. Those that couldn't make it on fuel are coming down. They're going to get 4 tires, a full tank of fuel, and they're going to be able to go the rest of the way. A couple of cars staying out on track, most notably the guy that took over the lead, Ryan Nolan in the 78, Scott Noslin right behind him, JP, Justin Pinnell staying out in the 60 car. The 66, Phil Otto, also staying out, along with Chris Mefford. Actually, nope, sorry, Chris Mefford, first one on pit road. So he's coming out right now in that mellow yellow car. I don't know if he just did a drive-through or what. Yeah, Ryan Nolan stayed out. That's going to be big news right there.
I was actually kind of shocked to see the 78 stay out of the pits, Chris. You would have thought that he would have been one of the ones who, you know, jumped right in there, got that fuel. Maybe not taking tires, but at least filled up the tank of fuel. But we'll see what happens. I mean, that's going to be something definitely to be watching closely. Yeah, Tom, I believe you're right. I believe he took fuel only. I can actually, I'll go back and look at that to see for you.
Up front, the 78 car, Ryan Nolan, Scott Noslin, going to be starting to the outside. On the inside, the number 60, JP, Justin Pinnell, running third. On the outside, second row, Phil Otto in the 66, Chris Mefford in the 44. He's going to be starting fifth. Joshua Spalding in the 9 car, going to be starting sixth. Dustin German, who has led 17 laps so far tonight, he's going to be starting way back in 7th place. Steve Baker back in 8th. Patrick Smith going to be running in the 9th position on the restart. T. Roy Radford cracks the top 10 in that 94 car. This is going to get good, boys. This is going to be very good racing. By boys, I mean I'm including everybody. Laura, you too. I gotta get it. And Kendra. Yeah, Kendra, if you're still out there. There he is, right there. He did, Kendra. He stayed out, but it's because he came in and got pits not that long ago, so he was able to do it. He's got enough gas to make it this time. His tires aren't that old, so he's not going to have a huge amount of fall off, but he does have a lot of cars around him with a lot of talent, so he's going to be on top of his game. He's going to be wheeling that car around this 2.5-mile track, trying to bring home a top 5 tonight, maybe even a win.
I went down into the 44 pit and watched Chris Mefford there, Chris. He definitely only took fuel only, so I know that Tommy Q was out there wondering about that. That is right. He only took fuel, and he wasn't in there for very long. That's what was kind of surprising. I don't think he took a full tank, but he, replaced what he used, and it's going to get really interesting to see what happens.
Justin Napier joining us here in chat. That must mean bad night at the end of the day, but hey, he's saying that was fun. Pocono is fun. It's a fun track to race. It's different on every corner, so you really have to know where you are on track. You don't want to go into turn 3 thinking you're on turn 1, that's for sure.
I really wish I could find out what was going through Ryan Nolan's head. I wonder if he's thinking, maybe I should have went down just for a little bit of more fuel. It's going to be really cool to see what happens with that 78 machine.
Well, I'm thinking about it. He came in last. He got four tires and full tank of gas. We went back green. We went right back to caution. So he's saving fuel there. We went green. I think we did, 2 laps under green that time. And we went back to caution. Ryan Nolan may be okay on fuel. What I want to do, we're going to go inside and see if he's going to save any on these pace laps. Doesn't look like it so far, though. Yeah, you're right, Tommy. He might be looking for more cautions, and as we get closer to the end, he may be right. The safest place is probably going to be up front. It's a pretty cool little graphic that I'd never noticed before from the cockpit. You can actually see the gear selector moving in gear. That's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever actually seen that before or noticed it. This game truly does surprise me. The sim truly does surprise me at the attention to detail. Well, we're on lap 57, getting ready to start lap 58 of 75, Kendra. So it's winding down, but 2.5-mile track. It takes a little while to get around this track. Under caution, it takes 2 minutes and 1 second to be exact. Ryan Nolan up front takes the green flag, and they're off again. Scott Noslin to the outside in the 33, but Ryan Nolan with a huge shot. JP with a nice push from the 9 car, Joshua Spalding. JP able to get to the back bumper of the 78 car, Ryan Nolan. JP running in second right now. Scott Noslin in the 33, running in third in the high side, that red and black car. But on the inside, they've got to push. the 9 car, Josh Spalding. Right behind him, the 55 of Steve Baker. On the outside, you've got Scott Noslin and Chris Mefford. So you can feel it. You can feel the anxiousness of the drivers wanting to go, but they have to do it safe. Chris Mefford moves down to the inside. We got one onto the wall, but no problem. He's able to maintain speed. 55 car goes around Scott Noslin. Steve Baker goes up to 4th place right now. Up front, you've got the 78 car, Ryan Nolan, JP, trying to find his line, running in 2nd, trying to figure out if he can get a little bit closer to Ryan Nolan. Right now, getting a little bit of a push, arrow push from Josh Spalding, but he goes down to the inside, trying to get around JP in the 60. Josh Spalding trying to turn it on now in that 9 car, and he does get around JP. The 55 now working the inside. 55 gets around the 60 car. That pushes JP back to 4th. Nicky Z in the 93, now also around JP. JP running in 5th now. Just, he did what he had to do to get out of that clean. Now he can gather it back up and try and move back forward, and he does. He's putting some pressure onto Nicky Z in the 93. In fact, he was in front of him at the start-finish line. JP running in 4th up front tonight. It should be noted, Rick, that JP has said if he finishes in the top 5 of any race with a spinal bifida car, that'll be it. And he's definitely got his efforts tonight.
Oh, JP's been doing a heck of a job tonight, Chris. You know, he did say that if he was getting to the top 5, so, you know, he might retire that paint. But honestly, I don't know. I really like that paint. I wish Billy was here. Maybe Billy's out there watching and he just hasn't said anything yet. But usually he'd be right there rooting for JP. So, you know, good on JP. You're doing a good job, buddy. Don't let it go to your head that we're talking about you right now and hit that wall. So just hang tight and do what you're doing because you're doing an awesome job. There's a lot of guys that have done a really awesome job tonight, Chris. But right now, Ryan Nolan, he's leading this thing. You got Joshua Spalding in the 9 right behind him. His teammate Steve Baker. You got Nicky Z in the 93. JP is holding on to 5th. Scott Noslin's there. Dustin German, he's sitting back in 7th. You know, he's been kind of dominating this race, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there. You also got Chris Mefford working his way. He started 4th, but he went back to 9th. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But Dylan Blankenship, Brian Beach, you know, Patrick Smith has been doing a really good job. He's sitting there in 12th right now. T. Roy Radford, you know, moved up from 25th up to 13th place. Gerald West. So, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on here, and you know, it's been a great race to watch and broadcast.
He had 14 laps to go. We're watching JP right now. Kind of falling back a little bit, but he's just got to gather it back up, take a breath. He's going to be fine. Dustin German right now, and the 42 car, they split it, going 3 wide down that long stretch on the front stretch. Dustin German thinks better. He goes back up top. The 42 stays down low, trying to get around JP, and he does. The 42 of Eric Driggins around JP for 6th place.
Kind of, you know, cool to see that the top 4, now 5, are sitting there. They're just kind of in line doing what they have to do. You know, right now I know Joshua Spalding's probably thinking, how can I get around this number 78? Best bet's going to be probably corner 3. You know, that's tough, and he's going to make the move right now on the outside, see what happens.
He is around on the outside. A little bit of help, drafting help perhaps, by the 55. Joshua Spalding out front. You see the 55 trying to hang with him. Ooh! Josh Spalding hits the wall. Everybody kind of shuffles from there. They're going to get around him. Both the 78 car and the 55 car. Ryan Nolan back to the lead. Josh Spalding going to lose a little bit of track space on that one as he falls back to 4th. Nicky Z in the 93 gets around him as well. And right now, Steve Baker trying to put pressure on Ryan Nolan. He's got a good shot on the inside. Ryan Nolan not able to keep up on the outside right now. They're going down, well, we'll call it the backstretch. And the 55, Steve Baker, takes over the lead for the first time tonight.
Yeah, Steve's one of those drivers, Chris, that likes to kind of hang back, do what he has to do right now. I'm not exactly sure what is going on with the 78. I think he might be in fuel conservation mode right now.
Yeah, he may not be wrong. He may not think he's been able to save enough as he goes back to 3rd place. Nick Zopner takes over 2nd place. I had to say his name right once.
It is kind of rare, Tom. You know, I think that was just some really good hard racing. Want to give a massive kudos out to the 78 and the 55 for that situation awareness there. You know, they kind of just peeled off, did what they had to do. Everybody just stayed. You know, unfortunately, Mr. Spalding, he did drop back a little bit, but he's going to be able to come, you know, I'm sure come back. Doesn't look like too much damage on that number 9 machine.
Yeah, meanwhile, Ryan Nolan gets back around Nicky Z. Ryan Nolan currently sitting in second place. Billy Daw making an appearance. Billy, how are you tonight, bud? Billy, I'm going to give it to you without you even asking. There he is, the number 60 car. It's solid top 10 right now. He's in 9th place, getting... looks like Pat Smith might be going around him right now, but JP been hanging out up front tonight. We just missed him. He was running second not that long ago.
He's definitely having a good run, Chris. I do see a lot of damage on the back of that car. I don't know if it's really enough to make a big difference. I mean, the spoiler's kinked in a little bit, but it's looking pretty solid out there.
I would say that a top 10 would be like a win for him tonight. But up front, Steve Baker grabbed a hold of that lead, not really ready to let it go yet. Ryan Nolan behind him by 2/10. And then Nicky Z in that 93, he's running third. Josh Spalding trying to figure out his car. I'm sure it's not handling exactly like it was before. Ryan Nolan in the 78 takes down to the inside. The 55 to the outside. It's going to be a drag race down to the start-finish line to see who's going to lead this lap. Steve Baker. Oh, no, Ryan Nolan.
No, Ryan Nolan.
Yeah, Ryan was able to sneak it out. Side by side in the 1. You see Ryan Nolan able to take a little bit of an advantage on 1. Steve Baker comes back to the inside, trying to crossover move. Going down, well, it's what we're calling the backstretch tonight. Hard on 3 corners. You don't really have a backstretch. But anyway, Steve Baker in the 55 to the inside, trying to take that position back from Ryan Nolan, and he has.
And that's kind of a textbook move, Chris. That's one of my favorite moves. I call it the in and out. You know, you let somebody go by you, next thing you know, you shoot up behind him, and you know, you take on that draft and do the slingshot, and it's kind of satisfying when you can actually do it. They're just going to go back and forth right now, I think, is what's really going to happen. But I don't know if that's really the smartest thing to do, as the 78 gets a little bit loose there, but he was able to keep it. But he's going to lose a little bit of time on him, that's for sure.
Yeah, he loses some time on track, but it also allowed Nick in the 93 to kind of gain a little ground on those guys as they were racing hard up front for the lead. Go back a little ways. There he is, Nicky Z in the 93 running third. In 4th place, the 9 car. That's Joshua Spalding. And in 5th place, the points leader, Dustin German, who had led 17 laps of this one, started this one back in, I believe he was 7th position on the restart, worked his way up to 5th so far, trying to find a way back to the front. Huge shout out to this number 1 car. That's Dylan Blankenship, has worked his way up to 6th, very quiet tonight. That's the first time I've called his name.
It is very quiet, Chris. Dylan actually qualified that number 1 machine in 23rd position, so he definitely moved up quite a bit there, very quietly. Knew what he had to do. And here comes Ryan Nolan. He's coming down into the pits, Chris.
Ryan Nolan not able to make it. He's down in the pits. Steve Baker right now, your leader, uncontested by a second over Nicky Z. That moves Josh Spalding up to 3rd, so everybody gaining a spot. Ryan Nolan had to peel off for fuel with only 7 laps to go. That's kind of a heartbreaker.
It is. He just came across the radio, Chris. He was actually hoping for another caution, just like we were saying. And unfortunately, you know, right now he is getting right side tires. I'm not exactly sure if he's just going to go with 2 here. I'm going to keep my eye on it for you. So no, he's going with 4 and fuel.
4 and fuel in case there is another caution. He'd be able to stay out. Sometimes you have to just do what you don't want to in order to potentially make a comeback later on in the race. 7 laps doesn't sound like a lot, but 2.5 miles apiece, these things, so you never know what could happen. We see right there Dustin German able to get around Josh Spalding. He is now 3rd place. Dustin German in that 28 machine trying to get back up front. And speaking of up front, there he is, Steve Baker, with Nicky Z in the 93 behind him, 0.6 of a second.
So this is going to get really interesting, Chris. Does Steve Baker have enough to go all the way, or is it going to be just enough just for a couple laps?
Take kind of a cool shot. We look at these cars coming to the corner. We're going to try and catch them all as they come.
You know, Billy, as much as I'd love to see him be in the top 5 or win a race, I don't know if I really want this paint scheme to go away. I really like it. JP did a fabulous job on it, bud, and he's supporting his brother, and that's what it's all about. So, in a way, I want him to take a 6th place, so that way we get to see it there for the last race this season.
Steve Baker, your leader right now. Maintaining that lead, actually stretching it back out. 9/10 of a second, 1 full second right now. 1.1. Steve Baker on a mission to try and win this one tonight.
The big question is he going to have enough fuel to go the last 4 laps that he needs to complete, Chris?
Well, that's it. We're going to find out. We're going to find out in about 5 laps, Rick.
I mean, we've had some really good races this year, this season that came through that were fuel mileage. So I think this is going to be another one. It's going to be really interesting to see. Right now, he does have one heck of a lead on that 93 machine. But right behind Nicky Z is Dustin German. You know, we'll see. You know, he's quite a ways back there from the leader right now by my scorecard, 4 seconds. So it's going to be kind of hard to see what happens. Well, there we go, JP. We have 3 votes right now that you do not get rid of that car, so that might be your car for next season too, buddy.
Lots of shucking and jiving going on towards the back of the lead pack. You see right now, there he is, JP. He's followed by Michael Thwaites. I always mess that up. T-Roy, Troy Radford in the 94 running 13th, and right behind him in the Tide Ride, Phil Otto, our Aussie. Tommy Q says, keep that car, JP. It sounds like you're getting outvoted, bud. Steve Baker, 2-second lead right now, going into turn number 1. Yeah, that's turn 1.
He kept his speed up right there, Chris. I mean, he was doing 155 through that corner. He's back up to 175 right now, 176. Just keeps climbing. So he's definitely not saving fuel. He might think that he has enough to go all the way. So it's going to get interesting. We have 3 laps left.
Well, at this point in the race, you might as well just use it up. If you have enough, you're going to probably win. If you don't, there's nothing you could have done about it.
That's
Ooh.
5 volts to keep the car. So, JP, there you go. There's your answer, buddy. Yeah, you're definitely right, Chris. I think this is what Ralph Earnhardt used to call it's go or blow time.
Steve Baker starts lap number 73. We've got a couple laps to go before this one's decided. The lead right now, 2.1 seconds. Dustin German sitting in 3rd. Josh Spalding still in 4th. Dylan Blankenship 5th place. Brian Beach 6th place. Chris Mefford worked his way up to 7th. Patrick Smith running in 8th right now. Eric Driggins running in 9th. And topping off the top 10. Actually, Gerald West just passed Eric Driggins for 9th place, so Eric is now in 10th. There's your top 10.
Yeah, Rad Racing is definitely having a good night right there. Steve Baker is leading this race. You got Dustin German at 28, Joshua Spalding in the 9. Let's see, who else is there? There's so many names and teams that I can't remember who everybody is. Double B11, so that must be, well, I'm not sure. That might be Mr. Spalding himself. Gerald West, didn't have the night that he was really hoping for, but he is sitting there taking a top 10. So, those guys are definitely doing a good job.
The points implications of tonight's race will follow us into next week. Next week at Michigan for the Miller 100.
That's going to be a fun race, Chris. That's one that I'm looking for. Michigan, pretty much all the NASCAR tracks are right up there on my top list. But Michigan is going to be a good way to end the season. I think it's definitely going to be good to see. But before that, we head out to Stafford for the late model series this Wednesday night. That championship is pretty close too right now. Looking at drop weeks, there's going to be a little bit of change if something bad happens. So, we got some really, really good racing coming up here, Chris, these next couple weeks, next 2 weeks, this week, next week.
We do, and Steve Baker has taken the white flag. All he has to do is make it around a couple of more turns. Steve Baker out front by 2.6 seconds in the 55 rad car. Steve Baker looking to win this one here at Pocono. 75 laps completed. He just has to hit that striped line one more time. He's coming around turn 2, looking good. 2.5 seconds back to second place right now. Dustin German still running third. Steve Baker takes it into turn 3, getting ready to come down that long front straightaway. JP runs out of fuel. Oh no, JP. Not the track to do it, but Steve Baker, your winner tonight in that 55 car. Nicky Z in the 93, going to be taking a home second. Dustin German third. Josh Spalding fourth. Dylan Blankenship works his way up to the top 5. That's your top 5 here from Racing for a Cause TV. Steve Baker, your winner tonight at the K&N Throwback, Pocono 1997. Rick, that was darn good racing, bud. 6 cautions, 22 laps, 10 different lead changes. Whew.
It was definitely a good race, Chris. Congratulations to Steve. We got to get some guys all set up here. I'm just watching Steve right now to see if he has enough fuel to make it around one more lap.
He'll go out and push those tires to make them smoke if he has to, I think.
That's what I'm thinking.
He's saving fuel for a burnout. He is. He's saving fuel for a burnout. As that car is idling around turn 3. Well, he's going to bring it to the start-finish line, folks. Your winner tonight, Steve Baker, in the 55 rad car. He has it fired back up again. I think we're going to get at least 1 or 2 smoke shows. I don't know. We'll see. Here it goes. Congratulations again to Steve Baker, your winner tonight. Laura, thanks for coming out. Really do appreciate that.
Yes, thank you so much coming out here on this Monday night. The support is just amazing from our Racing from a Cause family, our fans, everybody. So we definitely appreciate it. We wouldn't be here without you. It amazes me is the only word that I can say, and that's really not, that's not everything, but you guys do an awesome job. So thank you.
Wow, what a race. My goodness. All right, we're going to get everybody ready to talk. And as we do, we're just going to throw some music on just to kind of kill some dead air. So we'll be right back with you with the top 3. And I'll throw that list up now. All right, well, we saw the race. We know how it ended. Steve Baker in the 55 comes home first. But before that, we had the third place finisher tonight coming home in that 28 car, the Haviland car, Dustin German. Dustin, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, guys, what's up?
Hey, bud. You had a pretty darn good car tonight. You were able to lead 17 laps at the tricky triangle. How did the car feel to you?
Man, it felt real good out front. That last pit stop we made under caution, after that it kind of changed the game because you know, I got behind and it handled totally different traffic, but it was fun, man.
Well, you definitely did a great job, man. I mean, you were up front, you know, for quite a bit of the race. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot because it's such a long track, but, you know, we were looking for you to definitely make some moves. So congratulations coming in third tonight. Is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, man, I'd like to thank Racing for a Cause and Rad Racing for letting me do this. It's been good, man. It's been a good season. Hope we close it out next week at Michigan.
All right. Hey, Dustin, great race tonight, bud. And you're right, because you're the points leader, so it kind of matters right now. Man, good luck next week to you. That's about all I can say. For Pocono, a third place, good run, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
That's number 28 car, Dustin German, coming home in third place. Our second place finisher, not in team speak tonight, unable to speak to Nikki Z in that 93. So we kick it right on up to the number 55 car, Steve Baker, your winner tonight, 75 laps. He was able to lead 12 of them. Steve Baker, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, bud, you got yourself a win in this K&N series. How does it feel?
I had Pocono circled all year, so I knew if I could stay up front, you know, and stay in contention, then we'd have a shot. Luckily, Ryan stayed out there with that last caution, and me and a few of my other teammates pitted, knowing we could make it if we saved a little bit. And we saved like heck on those caution laps, so paid off, and we were good there by a lap or so at the end.
That was my question that I was going to ask there, Steve. Congratulations, number one, on winning the race tonight at Pocono. So obviously you saved. You did a good job. You weren't really worried up to the end. You got to do some burnouts, so that's pretty awesome. You got your win in the K&N series. You pretty much won them all now, bud. So congratulations. Rad Racing had a great night tonight. Got a lot of guys there in the top 10, so congratulations on that also. Is there anybody out there you want to thank?
Yeah, I know myself and a lot of guys on our team love this track because it's just unique. But yeah, I want to thank my teammates out there, Jerry, Josh, and Dustin. And then I think I got some people watching, like I think my mom and dad, and then my real life crew chief, Danny, and then my brother-in-law, Joey. So it's cool to have them watching, and it's fun to finally get one of these. I've been trying hard all season, and only took till the second to last race.
Well, you did it, buddy, so congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
That's your winner tonight, the 55, Steve Baker, bringing that thing home for Rad Racing tonight. One more race to go in this series, and it's the end of the season. Man, Rick, final thoughts on Pocono?
Pocono was just a great race, Chris. I mean, you know, obviously the guys probably didn't want to see that many cautions, even though it was low, but it really panned out good. You know, we were able to finish under greens, so you know, it was just a fantastic race. Everybody had a good night. You know, for the guys that did kind of have a bad night, unfortunately, that's just racing. You know, get them next week. Points are going to be really close. I'm interested to see that, but all in all, good end to a Monday.
Yeah, you know, it was a good race and a fuel race at that, when the leader has to come around turn 3 after the race is done, conserving fuel so that he can do a burnout. Man, what a great race. Thank you all very much for coming out and watching tonight, spending your Monday night with us here at Racing for a Cause TV, watching our favorite guys over at Racing for a Cause really turn it up here in the K&N series. Really do appreciate it. Rick, thank you very much for joining me up in the booth tonight. Always appreciate that. Always a fun time talking with you.
Well, thank you, Chris. I mean, this Wednesday might be a little tough, but I'm going to do what I can to make sure that I'm here in the booth with you down at Stafford. So it's going to get interesting, and I look forward to it. And I look forward to, you know, putting another season under the books. We're on our third season of late models, our first season now of K&N in the books. We're going to take a little bit of time off and have a good time.
There you have it. We're getting ready to finish this one up strong for everybody who watches. Thank you very much for coming out. We really do appreciate it. Have a great rest of your week. We'll hope to see you on Wednesday. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.